Hey, you guys, I'm Tashina, and this is...
Balake Oshak Hennessy.
What the fuck? He's a Balake?
Balake Oshak Hennessy.
It's Portia, y'all. Every video she gonna have a
It's Jay
different name.
Quillen.
She gonna have a new name. So today's case we're gonna be talking about, it was known as the Summer of Fear in Phoenix. Between 2005 2006. It's bad to have one active serial killer in your neighborhood. Imagine having two active serial killers. There was a Phoenix serial shooter, which we're going to be talking about today, and it was the Baseline killer, which we're going to be talking about next week. They were active at the same time in Phoenix.
But they weren't together.
They weren't together, no. These are two separately not related serial killers active around the same time.
In the same vicinity.
Same place. And today we're going to be talking about the serial shooter side of it. So
Phoenix was going up on the Tuesday.
I would have left Phoenix. I wouldn't have been a resident.
Not at all.
Phoenix no more. But let's get into the dark side of humans. All right, so we're going to give a little bit of a backstory of the two men involved. I couldn't find too much about their childhood, but I found out some. So we're going to start off with Dale. So Dale was born February 4th, 1973 in Nebraska. He is the youngest of 5 brothers. And when they lived in Nebraska, there was like nothing. You couldn't even find nothing about them because they were lived off the grid.
He was the illest nigga in Nebraska.
They lived off the grid. So they moved to Arizona when Dale was 5 years old. And that's the first time Dale got his social security number, anything. So they were completely off the grid. I don't know why. I don't know why they decided to move to Arizona, but that's what they did. So
He don't have a social security number. Oh, so he wasn't born in a hospital.
I guess not. He didn't get his social security until he was 5, and that's when they moved to Arizona. So nobody knows why. They don't know why they lived off the grid. We couldn't find any information about that. But so they grew up very poor, but they were happy. They had a good childhood. He had his 5 brothers. He was closest to the second youngest, which was Randy. And they got into boxing. And they were scrawny little kids. And they would get bullied a lot. So that's when they started getting into boxing. They started lifting. They started, getting tough. So they got bullied a lot because they were just awkward, skinny little white boys. And people
bully people that are...
If you look weaker or look skinny or anything like that, I don't know. They can tell. Kids just zone on you
and the fact when people are like poorer in other people's eyes, they tend to bully them.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I don't know. Kids are mean. So when he would go home, like he would get bullied and he would never stick up for himself, stand up for himself. So we would go home, he had this boxing, what's it called? Punching bag. And he would pretend the punching bag was the bully and he was the victim. He'd be like, I don't want no problem. I don't want no problem. Right, He was picturing like what he would do with his bully.
To the bully.
So one day he really got to live out of his fantasy. He was at school and the boy started, picking on him and he kicked his ass.
He stood up to his bully.
And he was so excited. He went home to tell his older brother Randy what happened and how excited he was finally stuck up for himself. And his brother was so proud of him. But his brother also said that
he was a little too happy
Dale
about
seemed
it.
like he was a little bit too excited. Like he wasn't excited the fact that he finally got to stand up to, but he was excited about how it felt when his fist hit the bully's face and the blood was on his knuckles. He was excited of the violence of it all, not the fact that he finally stood up for himself and all this stuff. No, he was excited about the violence of it all. So one day, Randy, it never said when he found this journal. Was it when they were still kids or adults? But he found Dale's journal, and he was really disturbed at what he found.
No, he found it. Hold on. Pause it.
What's that? It started counting down. But so he was that guy that everybody, he's such a good guy. Everybody was really shocked when they found out
Dale did all these things.
What happened. So when he found the journal, after his brother already committed the crimes and he was already, getting, was he on trial for it?
He was done with trial.
Oh, he was already dead. So.
Oh no. It was towards the end of the trial.
Okay, so in the journals, he's found that Dale wrote that he, set fires, he slashed tires, he poured bleach on people's clothes that they're hanging up to dry. But what he did to animals is what really disturbed Randy. So he would shoot birds, and the birds that wouldn't die right away, he would torture them. So he would take them into their backyard and bury them up to their necks. He would put some in a shoebox and put it in a microwave. He wrote that it stunk, but he was satisfied with the outcome.
Like the smell didn't overweigh.
No, he was satisfied of what he did to the animal. And then he would always leave a quote at the end, # no regrets, # no remorse. So at a young age, he liked violence.
But he masked it. He
was very
well.
good. Yeah, he was very. Even his own brother didn't know that side.
His brother rode it out with him for the longest, saying, "My brother didn't do these crimes. Yeah. He's being framed by the other person. Yada yada yada. Y'all got the wrong one."
Yeah.
They had the right one.
But they had the right one the whole time. So when Dale was 18, he met this lady. I think her name was Tracy. And she was 19, and they ended up getting married. She was pregnant when they met. She was pregnant with another man's baby. And Dale didn't mind. Dale was really into family. Like, family was important to him. He was raised in a big family. Family was important to him. So he didn't care. He was going to treat the baby like his own. And Tracy thought, oh, shit, I hit the jackpot. Like, not many men were going to marry a woman that's pregnant with another man's baby and then
raise it as their own.
So, they got married, and they ended up eventually, not long after they got married, she eventually had a baby of their own, a little boy. He was a great father, but he just wasn't a good husband. She would describe him later on that he was a very mean husband. He was just not a good person. And it took her a very long time to realize that that's just not how husbands treat their wives. So,
can you stop it again?
Yeah. So Tracy didn't realize that, her and Dale wasn't going to work out. So 18 months, they were only been married for 18 months, and they ended up getting a divorce. He wasn't heartbroken for long because he met this lady. He was dating this lady named Karen while the process of the divorce. And when the divorce finally was settled, he ended up marrying the lady Karen, and they decided to move to Pasadena, Texas. But he just wasn't ready to leave his boys. So Tracy decided to let him take the two boys and let the two boys go live with him. So, and Karen loved the boys as her own. She treated them, good and everything. So one day they decided to go on a road trip. They were going to drive to Austin or Dallas. Dallas.
I
think it's Dallas.
I think it was Dallas.
Yeah, somewhere in Texas. They were still going to drive to Texas. So Dale was in the passenger seat, and the two boys were in the back seat, in the car seats. It didn't say how old they were, but I believe they're probably like one, because she was pregnant when they got married, and they were only married for 18 months. 4. Yeah, so they were little. Mm. So they were in a car seat.
2 and 3. Yeah, they were little.
Yeah, and then Karen was driving, but unfortunately Karen fell asleep at the wheel while she was driving, and the car careened off the bridge into this lake or river, and they got out. Karen and Dale got out, and the little boys didn't because they were trapped in the car seat. Dale kept trying to save them. He kept diving down, and he couldn't save them. So at that day, he told his brother after that day that he died. The day his boys died was the day that he died. And I think at that point, he just stopped caring about human life. Yeah. Like, he just didn't care anymore. Unfortunately, him and Karen's marriage didn't last. Deep down, he could never forgive her for falling asleep, and I don't think she ever really forgave herself. So they split, and he just got in a very dark place. And Karen tried to move on with her life, so she started dating, and Dale overheard this. He kidnapped her, took her to the desert, and held her at gunpoint with a shotgun and said he was going to kill her. And I truly believe he would have killed her that day if these motorcyclists didn't drive up. I really believe the timeline would have been different. It would have been a whole different thing because I believe he would have killed her that day. So he let her go. He ended up dating another lady. He never got married again. He ended up eventually having a daughter. but that relationship didn't work out. He just, I guess he can hide who he is
for only so long.
Yeah, when he's home, he can't hold it no more. But when he's around his family, when he's around his friends or his coworkers, he's a different guy. When he's at home, the wives tend to get a different Dale. So that's all we really know about Dale. So let's talk about Sam. So Sam Dietman. Sam was born October 17, 1975. Now, Sam was the only child, and he didn't live in a stable house. His dad beat his mom. His dad was in and out of jail. His dad was in the motorcycle gang. What's that famous motorcycle gang? Hell's Angels. Sons of... I mean, was it? I was Sons of... Hell's Angels. Son of Anarchy. Did you watch Son of Anarchy?
Yes, I
yeah,
did.
you did. Okay. So
I just didn't watch the last episode.
He was in and out of prison, and he was in and out of Sam's life. So when Sam got about to be a teenager, that was his dad was completely out of his life. Sam was always getting in trouble. He would shoplift, steal.
He did anything
vandalism, and he was in drugs and alcohol was always around him. He was always around drugs and alcohol. So he was on, drugs and alcohol. At 16, he got a girl pregnant. At that time, his mom was moving to Arizona. Did I say where he lived? He lived in Minnesota. So he lived in Minnesota. And his mom wanted to leave. So he left the baby there with the mom, and he moved to Arizona with his mother. And he promised his mom and he promised himself, when I get to Arizona, I'm going to be a different person. I'm not going to, break the law no more, yada, yada, yada. So at first he got a job as an electrician, but he wasn't finding steady jobs. So he was basically just doing ins and outs of, little things here and there. He wasn't able to support himself consistently. So he ended up moving in with his mom and his stepdad, which his stepdad, they didn't get along. And he ended up meeting, he ended up working at this bar. So at the bar, he met a lot of, he was the bartender, so he met Dale's brother first. Before he ever even got in contact with Dale, he met his brother, Jeff. This was Dale's older brother. I don't know how older, but this was his older brother. And he was a freaking, his main income came from shoplifting. So he would be a booster, basically, go to Sam's Club and Walmart and Costco and sell alcohol and stuff like that and sell them on the street. So his income was coming from that. So Sam met Dale's brother before he even came in contact with Dale. So, and then he ended up getting a good electrician job where it was a consistent job, work, whatever. But, so everything was looking up for Sam. It looked like Sam was finally going to be able to, live a crime-free life.
What's his name,
Jeff, yes, the older brother
was
Jeff.
Yo, my brother need a roommate.
so the bar that Sam worked at ended up closing. The guy decided to sell it, and then he lost his job in electricity because he kept getting into it with the supervisor. Just kept arguing with the supervisor, and his stepdaddy wasn't having it. His stepdaddy said, "You ain't got no job. You ain't putting no money in this house. You got to get out." So he got out, and they said that Jeff had a good heart, even though, and he, had a violent past because he likes to stab people.
Remember that Jeff likes to stab people because this gonna come up.
So, but everybody said he had a good heart. He opened his doors to people in need and whatever. So Sam was introduced. They knew each other from the bar, and he one day was telling Jeff about his problems, and Jeff was like, "Oh, you can come live with me." But technically, it's not fucking Jeff's house to open the doors to. It's his girlfriend's house, Celeste, and she had cerebral palsy, so she couldn't really move or do much, and she didn't mind Jeff having people over as long as he can vouch for them, and they were respectful people. When Sam moved there, Sam got along with everybody. Celeste had a teenage son that Sam got along with. Everything was, looking up. Then he started stealing with Jeff. And Jeff was telling him about his brother Dale. So Dale must be stealing with him too.
They all was stealing together.
Because this is before Sam met Dale, when he would always brag to Sam about his brother Dale, and then he would brag to Dale about Sam, and so they both started getting curious about each other.
He was laying the basis for this tumultuous friendship.
So they were both like curious about each other, you know, because Jeff always had something so highly to say about, you know, each one of them. So they finally met and hanging out and everything, still in together, whatever. At this point, Dale has already been driving around doing his thing.
Allegedly, Jeff was doing it with him.
Yes, it wasn't
allegedly, but allegedly
Jeff was in the car.
Dale
they were in the car. Yeah,
rolling around, lighting up horses and dogs.
Poor things.
Yeah.
So this happened. He's been doing this. This started in 2005. Sam didn't get involved until 2006. So they met up, and then they started doing meth. And at this point, Sam then moved out of Jeff's house and now is living with Dale. So Dale decides, let's introduce, you know, Sam to my little hobby that I do.
RVing.
Yeah, that we do.
They called it RVing.
Recreational violence. That's what they call it. So we're gonna get into the crimes. Now, I'm going to mention these people's names, but I'm not gonna say their last names because I don't want to butcher their names. But I want to say the names of the victims.
Because there's a lot
that were killed. Okay, so in the summer of 2005-6, well, mostly 2006 was the summer of fear. The residents of Arizona was, you know, being killed, being shot like freaking
for doing nothing other than walking.
That's just so scary. This thing scares me. And they go all at night. So what? It's like 10:30 at night. Somebody, simple as walking out their door, getting on their phone. Simple as leaving work, walking to the bus stop.
Simple as being in your own garage.
Yes.
Looking for a tool.
So So the first murder that Dale was not convicted for this murder. I don't know why this murder wasn't included in his thing, but this was his first.
Have enough evidence.
That was his first crime. So Dale's first started May 17, 2005. His first victim was Tony Mendez. He was 39 years old. He was riding his bike. At that time, the electricity went out in the neighborhood, and he was just riding to the neighbor's house to give people candles. And Dale decided to roll up behind him and shoot him in the back and kill him. On June 29th, his second victim was David Estrada. He was shot outside of, it was like 3:30 in the morning. He was shot outside of a Jack in the Box. It was believed he was waiting for a ride because he had his guitar with him. He had his duffel bag. He was just waiting outside for a ride. And they rolled up on him and shot him. At that same night, they ended up killing two horses. No, one horse. The other horse survived. They shot two horses. One died. Her name was Sarah Moon. And the second one, he lived. And then they ended up shooting a little dog named Whiskey that same night. That's just so sad. Like, these people's dogs, people love their dogs. They're just minding their business. You just drive around shooting at them. And the horse, like, that's just... So at June 29th, shortly around 10 o'clock, he's going around killing dogs. He killed one dog and he injured another dog. Around 11:20 p.m., they found Nathaniel Stauffer. I'm not going to say his last name. Nathaniel dead. It was later said that Sam said that Dale killed him.
It was an accident.
Because he called him a Bill Clinton looking motherfucker.
Oh, that's the one. that's the one. Yeah.
And so Sam wasn't in here when they killed, but this is a story that Dale told him why he killed this guy. So we don't know where he killed, because his body was found. So we don't know, did they meet on foot? They must have. He was able to call him a Bill Clinton looking motherfucker. He do. When he said that, I was looking at it. He kind of do look like a distant cousin of Bill Clinton, where you can see it a little bit, but not really. Like, so on December 29th, they go out shooting again. This is just Dale and Jeff around this time. It was never said if Jeff even pulled the trigger. I think Jeff was just riding along. So I don't know. So
I think Jeff had a little in him.
Yeah. So December 29th, Barbara was shot, but she survived. Later on that night, Jose, 44-year-old Jose, was shot and killed, and also a Marco. He was 28 years old and he was killed. And then around 11:39 the same night, they drove around. They shot this lady Tammy in the neck, but she survived. So they're just driving around killing people and shooting people. Okay, so and then it went quiet for 5 months. His last shooting was December 29th of 2005, and it was Clarissa. She survived. So he went quiet. Dale,
for those months though, they said that they was just focusing on robbing and stealing
because they needed fires and fires. Yeah.
And allegedly, Dale's feelings was a little bit hurt because the other killer,
Sam.
No, the other murderer guy.
Oh, baseline killer.
The baseline killer was showing him up, so he was in his feelings, like, oh, you know, he wanted to take my shine, and he wanted to be butthurt, so he didn't do anything for a while. He said when he came back, he was coming back with a vengeance.
Yeah, so when he came back, his first shooting after that was May 5th, 2006, and this time Sam was involved. They shot Kill Bill?
Claudia.
That name first. Okay. Somebody was shot in the neck, but they survived. And so that night, the first person that Sam would ever kill was a 20-year-old Claudia Gutierrez. She was just walking to the bus stop on her way home, and this time Sam shot her in the back and killed her. On May 17th, Sam stabbed a guy named Timothy, and he slashed him in his face. I don't know where they in the bar. They never really said how that happened. Then on May 30th, and so between May 30th and 31st, they will go on to shoot and injure 3 people. On June 8th, Sam and Dale set 2 Walmarts on fire. Nobody
got them on camera in the Walmart.
nobody was injured. Nobody was hurt. And then from June 11th to July 22nd, they will go on and shoot and injure 11 people. The last person that they would kill before they get caught was on July 30th.
We gotta pause again.
Okay, so their last victim was Claudia Gutierrez, 20-year-old. She stepped out of the not Claudia. We already talked about Claudia.
Yeah.
So the last person they killed was Robin. I believe her name was. Yeah, her name was Robin. This is the one that walked out of the house to talk on the cell phone. This is the last person that was shot and killed. So how did Dale and Sam get on the police radar? Because they had no suspects at all. Nobody came up on their radar. They didn't know who. So Sam one day goes to the bar, drunk off his ass. He's drinking with one of his drinking buddies. And he starts to tell him what him and Dale's been doing.
Do you know how I feel to kill somebody?
And he said, I think I killed a girl. And then so after that, the friend goes straight to the police. And he goes and tells him what Dale said. Not Dale, Sam said. So the police, this is how Sam gets on the radar. So they watch him and stuff, and they see Dale. They see that he lives with a roommate. But at this point, they're still thinking Sam's their main and
dude. They're trying to get the friend to get Sam to confess to him.
Yeah.
But the dude is like, man, maybe what if he just talking shit?
Yeah.
And he really didn't do nothing. I don't want to get an innocent man in trouble.
Yeah. So the cops somehow got the okay. They put wiretaps in the house, and they're listening to the thing. So they hear them proceed to talk about killing, and they'll say, oh, how he loves to shoot him in the back. And, just them bragging about what they're doing.
Bring their total to 6. It's higher than that. What about the guy shot him 27 times in the yard? They're looking for similar crimes in other states. Really?
We're paying you, sir?
How much you can go back? That's so much fun. That old man coming back. Favorite thing is, somebody walking away. It gives me, at least an extra couple of seconds to answer. I have to worry about them looking.
And so they had enough evidence to finally arrest him. So Sam's coming out to take the trash out. That's when the SWAT team arrests him. And then Dale comes out shortly after to look for Sam, and that's when he was arrested. So they took him in for interrogation, and of course they separated him. And of course they're still thinking that Sam is their guy. That Sam is the ringleader. Sam's the one that's controlling this all. So they go and they decide to talk to Dale first before they go to the guy, right? So when they talk to Dale, this is when they realize that maybe Dale is the ringleader. Right?
And he not giving us nothing.
He's not giving, but the way that, so they asked him, why do you think Sam's doing this, or why do you think a person would do this? And basically he gave them what his reasoning is. And he was like, well, me and Sam talk about this all the time, like, why are you guys walking outside at night in the dark? You know, you guys are stupid. You guys get what you deserve. And basically he said in a sick way, he thinks it makes Sam feel like powerful and feels like, so basically he's telling why he feels the way he is. So then they're like, maybe.
No, be more than willing to talk to you about anything you guys want to know about. So.
Okay. And I'm talking to you because, you know, unfortunately, you've been sucked into this hurricane that I'm calling Sam Dietman.
He thinks I'm honestly looking at Sam. That's the whole goal. I will take the focus off of Dale, and I'll put it all on Sam initially.
If Sam is doing this, why would he do it?
To strike fear, maybe to make people afraid of you, or to, in a sick way, boost yourself up. Sometimes I'll say, you know, when watching on TV, and I'll say, man, that's what you get when you walk down the street 3 a.m., man. Someone's gonna drive and cheat you, and you ask people to just don't listen, you know? People take it as a joke.
That's basically him admitting that that's exactly what motivates him. He's clearly narcissistic, and he wants to create an unbelievable fear and anxiety in the whole metropolitan area. I started to think to myself, okay, I may have gone in to the wrong interview first.
Maybe we interrogated the wrong guy at first. So they go to Sam, and Sam tells him right away. Sam's like, I know why you got me here. And he tells him what him and Dale been doing. And he tells him that Dale...
Just straight confessed
He just confessed to it.
everything.
He said that Dale would drive and would just stop, pull a gun out, and shoot. And he was like... basically, he just confessed. He just told him everything he did. Dale shut up.
He was just tired of it.
So they went and got 2 police officers, went back to interview Dale, and I didn't like the tactics that the police used. I thought it was dumb and pointless. They just started calling him a pervert, like, you're a pervert, and this, I don't know, just calling him names. I don't know what they thought he was gonna confess for calling him a pervert. He just locked up and shut up and didn't say nothing. He never pled guilty. He kept saying it wasn't him.
To the day he got convicted,
he said it wasn't
still
him.
said it
He's
wasn't
a
him.
nice guy. He would never kill nobody. He knows what it feels like to lose somebody. So why would he kill them? And he was like, I feel like Sam had access to my car keys because I would just throw my car keys around. I would just leave them around, whatever. And Sam would use my car. But mind you, everybody they talked to said, no, Dale would never let anybody use his car. And he knew where his keys were. And it was proven in the trial that, I was trying to find the videos, but they didn't have them. But they were proven about the keys that weren't just laid around or whatever, you know. So he ended up getting, now let me read, I have to read his charges because it's a lot of charges. So he was guilty. He got convicted of 6 counts of first-degree murder, 17 counts of conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, 2 counts of arson, 9 counts of animal cruelty, 2 counts of attempted animal cruelty, 24 counts of drive-by shootings, 4 counts of unlawful discharging of a firearm, and he got sentenced to 6 death sentences. I don't know why.
By lethal injection.
They do 6 because the first one.
They wanted to kill him 6 times.
So he got 6, and at this point he was trying to move along. Because after you get the death penalty, you can get an appeal. It's a mandatory appeal that will get filed for you or whatever. And after that mandatory appeal was filed and denied or whatever, he wanted to move along the him getting executed. He didn't want to live no more. He was, like he told his brother, he died the day that his boys died. And he felt like if he died, it would give the family peace. He just didn't want to be alive no more. So In 2013, Dale decided to take matters into his own hands, and he was found unresponsive in his cell. And it was determined that he overdosed on antidepressants. I don't know why he would have his own pills.
He got them from another person.
It had to be for somebody, yeah. Because I'm like, how did he get?
He got them from another
his
person.
pills?
The person said they really thought he just couldn't sleep because everything that he was going through. So when he would get his pills, the nurse wouldn't watch to see if he took them or not. So he would just not take it and give it to Dale so Dale could sleep at night.
Yeah. So he took matters into his own hands. Now Sam, he pled guilty. He got 2 counts of first-degree murder. So I don't know the second person he killed. They always just said it was the one girl, Claudia, that he killed.
The guy. Didn't he stab somebody too?
Yeah, but I don't think it killed him.
Oh.
So I don't know. But he got 2 degrees at... So Dale, let's go back to Jeff liking to stab people. So while they were driving around, so he had Dale and Sam lure a man to the car. I guess he had the man owed him money or I don't know reason, but he ended up stabbing him. He ended up getting only 7 years of prison, which I don't know why. But like, if you're driving along in the car with these people,
you should have been in prison with them.
You should be in prison with them. You might not pull the trigger, but you were driving around them shooting people. Like, so they never had no motives. They could never say any motives to this killing. They just enjoyed it. Like we said earlier, they call it recreational violence. Now I feel like Sam was kind of like
I feel like Sam was
not bullied into it. He was like peer pressured into it because I feel like Dale just did it. Dale was doing most of the killing. I just feel like Dale just wanted to do it. Like I said, when Dale's kids died, Dale didn't care about human life no more. He didn't care about anything no more.
Sam needed somewhere to live. Yeah. He needed... But that doesn't make excuses for
no
it. You're still wrong.
It's just different roles that people, like in a group, you got the one that's more dominant. You got one that gets talked into doing shit.
There's nothing more dangerous than the person that's a follower.
Nothing. Especially when you know it's wrong and you know you don't like doing it, but you still doing it because you want to be liked by this person
and
or whatever.
You're helping kill people.
Yeah.
When you could have stopped it. And he did say the first time Dale shot somebody, he just pulled the gun out and shot the lady, then looked at him to see what his reaction would be. Yeah. And he thought that he would kill him in that moment if he didn't be like, oh, that's dope, let's go do some more.
And he said he loves shooting people in the back.
Yeah.
Suck ass.
Coward.
But he did now, so. So yes, that was the first. Now next week we're going to talk about the baseline killer.
Oh, their brother. What's the brother? The good brother?
Oh, Randy.
Randy did meet with all the families. Well, not all, but most of them.
I think it was like 2, right?
Yeah, he met with
the first victim that we talked about, the one that got shot on the bike, taking candles. He talked to his son, and then he talked to somebody's daughter.
Yeah. And he wanted us to apologize to all the families, because he felt like he carried that burden or whatever. Because he did believe his brothers for a while that they couldn't do something like this. Yeah. And he just felt really sorry or whatever. He had a lot of, guilt. And like the families told him, it ain't your fault. We all got bad people in our family. It's up for us. It's for us to do right. If they want to do bad, that's on them. They got to deal with their punishments. Yeah. But he did apologize for his brother's actions. And he said he felt disgusted with what they had. And when Dale was found dead, he said it sucks to say, but he was happy. He felt a relief.
He said he felt relieved when that happened. So, well, that was the case for today.
Another video was kind of crazy. Allergies was killing me, so
she almost died a few times. She had to fight just so we could finish this video.
That's why I sound like this from coughing like that.
She fight for her life
and from yelling yesterday. Go Rams!
Anyways, so like this video if you like it, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you in our next one.